other rides.
This time, we're going to go on to one of my preferred categories, which is thrilling rides.
Not one of my favorite categories.
Some people might be surprised that there's actually a pretty decent number of them at Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that we were able to come up with 10 so quickly.
First, we're going to start around the Hollywood Studios, and one you will never go on.
I know which one you're talking about.
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Currently starring Aerosmith.
It goes upside down.
In the dark.
I don't go upside down. Doesn't it go like 0 to 65 in some ridiculous number of seconds or something?
Yes, because it has linear induction motor launch.
Yeah,
so, yes.
yes. These are things that make me go, I'll be waiting over here for you when you get out.
But they rotate all the images so it's the right side up, so you never know. And it's in the dark, so you can't see it.
Well, no. I'll be having my chili dog over here. When you come out, we'll talk.
All right.
Okay. So then the other one on the same street, right directly,
Catty corner from it is your favorite,
the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Yes.
And it does live up to its name.
It is pretty terrifying.
It is.
And it is definitely a tower.
Now, one time we went on and it wasn't working properly, so the doors didn't open. So that kind of removes the terror part. You know, when you can't see out.
To me, that added to the terror. I'm like, I'd rather see. I'm in a pitch black room going up and down, up and down. I'd rather see it at least once.
But, you know, the whole idea is it opens and you're like, it's not supposed to be opening into blank space, which it's doing because it's supposed to be malfunctioning. Of course it isn't. But I love it because it's so well
And if the doors don't open, you don't get your photo. Because the camera's on the outside.
That's true.
Of those doors.
That's true. That's a good point.
So if the doors don't open for you, you don't get your photo at the end.
I have many videos of people who are not related to us on that ride because it's one of the few you can actually videotape it as it's going up and down, and when the doors open, you can actually see the people in it.
Yeah.
And hear the screams, which is amazing to me. That way down from where I am.
You can actually, from a good distance away from the attraction, you can hear the people go, as they go down.
Which goes to tell you how much they're screaming. It's like the whole elevator car is screaming at once.
Yeah, and you know what? I think they do amplify it a bit.
I think they may either that or it's just a trick of the fact that it's kind of in that canyony area and it's higher and I don't. It might be just an audio trick kind of
cavernous shaping of
But it's just amazing that you can hear it way over in the eating area. You can hear the screams.
You can hear the screams every time that car opens, the doors open, as they drop down again.
Which makes people want to go on it even more. Like, oh my god, we gotta go on that. And not me. I'm not going, oh my god, that's terrifying, I gotta go on that.
It's like, oh, cool, Twilight Zone.
Probably if I had observed that in advance. Exactly, that's what drew me. Had I observed it in advance, I might not have wanted to go on it so bad. But I really
you go like, oh look, a big old building. Oh, it's got Twilight Zone. Let's go in it. That's what drew you.
Yes, it was Twilight Zone.
A big old building with Twilight Zone.
And they did the theming so flippin' well. I mean, all the little details. We're spending a lot of time on this.
Yeah, we love this attraction, you can tell.
This is one of our favorite attractions, okay.
Alright, we're going to keep going because we're going to just talk for an hour about Hollywood, about the Tower of Terror. So another one that gets pretty dang scary, because it is, in many instances, a roller coaster.
Are you talking about Everest?
Yes. Expedition Everest, the Curse of the Yeti.
I was really scared to go on that. I really wasn't sure if I was going to want to do that. But now that I've gone on it once, I've enjoyed it, and I'll go on it every time.
Yes.
And it's still a little scary for me. I'm not big on roller coasters.
Thrilling. That's for sure.
Thrilling. But, you know, a lot of it, what helps for me is a lot of it occurs inside the mountain, and you have, you know, the broken tracks and the Yeti that comes. And so there are other things to concentrate on other than, oh my God, look how high up we are on these rickety roller coaster tracks. You can get some great pictures on that ride. It's actually smoother than I would have thought too.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it's technically a steel coaster.
Is it as smooth as a rock and roller coaster?
A little bit more rickety,
a little more
but that's to the storyline of it.
Yeah. You're in the temple and you're in the museum, so. And I always get that one confused with Cali as far as the theming goes.
So that basically sends you right into, you can talk about your Cali River Rapids you love so much.
Oh my, well, I love water rides. I'm a huge, and Disney doesn't have enough of them, in my opinion.
Go to the water parks.
And Cali is the only one that really gets you wet. Most of the time.
Not wet. You usually get soaked.
Well, that's what we were talking about before. Like, you got to go with a fat person. Because the more weight you have on the boat, the more it splashes down. So if you're the skinny person on a boat full of fat people, it's like, ha ha ha, revenge of the fat people, because you're going to get soaked.
I love to see people who go on Cali like, am I going to get wet?
Oh,
or I don't want to get wet.
You know, stand here and watch the people getting off of it.
You see them going for the towels.
You don't see anybody dry getting off of it. You know, well, you could put your poncho on and stuff, but even
it helps a little.
It helps a little. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not gonna completely keep you dry even that.
Might keep your top half a little drier, but
yeah.
your legs are still gonna be soaked through.
Yeah.
Well, since we're sticking to water rides, let's flip over to Magic Kingdom. And stick with another one of your absolute favorites.
Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain, yes.
Splash Mountain. One of the 3 mountains in the park, right? Splash Mountain is, I don't like, it always has an incredibly long line. That's one of the bad things about it. The line is just
retarded.
Forever. Yeah.
And it's one of the ones, it winds in and out of buildings, and it goes upstairs while you're going through it. So.
And I don't mind it once you get inside, honestly. It's the outside, it's hot out there. And it takes forever.
But again, by the time it gets out there, you're starting to see the rope stanchions.
You should definitely look. There are some cute little things that they have outside there. They have like the little bird houses with speakers in them, so you hear birds and
chipmunks talking.
Yeah, you hear like chipmunks or squirrels or something. So you should definitely look around and see all the little houses and pay attention to those details that they put out there. I think a lot of people ignore them when they're out in the lines and they're just talking and playing on the ropes and not really paying attention. And then once you get inside all the way down, you go up, but then you go down and you get in your little log boat and you go for your cruise. But the inside, and see, it's kind of hard. I mean, it is considered a thrill ride, but there's really only one thrill in it.
The final thrill.
The final thrill, yeah. All the rest of it is really my kind of ride, with the singing and the dancing and the little, rabbit, and it tells his whole story. And that's one thing I like about it. And then we're going to talk about it in another section, so I'm not going to go into that one anymore. But it's an awesome ride. The final thrill, of course, when you go over the top, you see the evil vultures or whatever, you see their eyes, and they're like, you're going on, and then you, of course, you're getting away. You're from Briar Bear and Briar Fox going into the Briar Patch, and you look down and you see these giant thorns, and that's where you're going. You're going down a hill to the giant thorns, and then, of course, you get down there and splash down, and that's when they take your picture, of course, and some amazing pictures have been taken on that ride.
And again, have the heavy people up front.
Yes, have the heavy person up front so you can get wet. Ha ha ha.
Otherwise, it's pointless.
Yes.
Might as well go to the next mountain range. It's right next door, Thunder Mountain. One of my favorites again.
I love riding Thunder Mountain.
We recently redid the queue. That was another winding one, but it's usually not that long. Even when it's supposedly long, it's not that long.
Well, they have 6 trains or something like that run on it?
Yeah, 6 trains on 2 with the dual loading. So they have 2 sets of trains that they load at the same time. So that helps move it real quick. Not a long ride.
Well, that one does shut down pretty frequently. With lightning storms, it seems like that's when it always goes down.
Yeah, well, because of the fact that
they are outdoor roller coasters, yeah. And that's technically that's another one that's technically a roller coaster, but
it's not.
It's
a train ride. It's a fast train ride.
It feels like a train ride, even though it's a roller coaster ride. So that's why I like it.
Yeah.
It's not as scary for that. It doesn't go upside down.
No, of course not.
It has a clickety clack.
It has some bank turns, but they're not bad.
Yeah. Well, it has some pretty sharp banking turns, actually. But you don't really notice them because you're in the theming and the, if you get into the store, you pay attention. A lot of people don't, but what it is. It's supposed to be. This is a ghost town. Essentially, it's been abandoned. It's about to be flooded. So they've had a series of misfortunes in this town. So as you go through it, you see, the crazy effects of the misfortunes that a ghost town would go through and flooding of the ghost town. And you go through the cave where there's the bats.
Yeah.
With all the eyeballs and the rocks that are starting to fall. Yeah, I think that part might scare some little kids.
Yeah. And it's quite loud, especially because you got that clickety-clack going on at the same time, so it's already loud in there. So some people might not. But once you get past that little part, because that's just the beginning of it. So if you just get past that little part at the beginning, then you're good the rest of the way.
But it's still thrilling, even though it's not a scary thrill.
Neither is Space Mountain. Space Mountain's not scary at all.
Yeah, that's what he says.
It's another indoor roller coaster, but it doesn't go upside down or anything like that. There's some tank turns. You get pretty dang close to the steel from how it looks and feels when you're riding it, but it's not the most comfortable vehicle either. You sit one person wide, 6 people long in 2 cars, basically sitting in each other's laps the whole way. Although not exactly, because there's actually...
So this is not your favorite ride, is what you say.
It's a great ride, but it's also not my favorite ride. If that makes any sense to anyone.
Sure does.
Just make up for it.
Now, how does that compare to the other space-themed ride, the Mission Mars?
Mission Space.
Mission Space, yeah, sorry.
There's no... It's like comparing apples and oranges.
It's completely different.
Yeah. One's a roller coaster, one's some motion simulator.
See, I've actually ridden Mission Space, but that's a thrill ride too. Right?
Very thrilling, because it's a motion simulator like the astronauts use, although tuned down a bit.
I've ridden it many times, and they say that people get really sick on it, and I get motion sickness really easy, and I've never felt motion sickness on that ride. The most I feel claustrophobic after a while in it.
It is very claustrophobic.
But I never get motion sickness on it.
Yeah.
And I get motion sickness really easily.
I think they do a good job with the video, that helps.
Yeah. Well, it helps if you're concentrating on what you're supposed to be concentrating on. I think if you're just kind of looking to the side or something.
That's why they say never look to the side. That's one of the reasons why they put blinders on you, so that you can't really look to the side either.
Because they would be cleaning them regularly.
Yes. Well, even more regularly.
Yeah, even more regularly than they do now.
But since we're in Epcot, we'll just go on over to Test Track. I mean, because that's... they recently refurbished it and gave it a little bit of a new, sleeker theme. Gave it, instead of it being General Motors, it's now Chevrolet specifically. Hopefully with that they fix the cars a little bit better, so they're not quite breaking down as often. I've heard that it's the same though, so we'll see.
The queue is supposed to be more interactive now.
The queue is not a queue anymore. It has the little pre-show where you go in there and you design a car. And it's supposed to be that car you designed is what's being tested in the test chamber. It's basically the same attraction with a different theme attached to it. That's it.
Okay.
They've made it look like you're more in a digital world than in a real world, but it's still the same. You still go through the same bits. Still got the hot and cold bits, and it still goes outside and goes 60 miles an hour until it breaks, and then it goes 2 miles an hour and stops.
Okay, moving on.
Going from the longest queue line for the Broken Ride to the world's longest queue line in Disney, as far as I know, which is Soaring. That thing can get up to multiple hours, and I'm not talking 2 or 3. I'm talking 4, 5, or 6 hour long wait times. I'm talking 4, 5, 600 minutes of wait time.
It doesn't really make sense for it to be that long. I mean, I know it's a really popular ride, okay, but it's getting older now. It shouldn't still be. In fact, the lines are getting longer, not shorter, which is weird. I mean, when they first opened it, you and I went on it multiple times in one day.
Yep.
And now, if you get on it in a day, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Even with that, they usually close fast passes down after a couple hours after opening.
Yeah.
So if you're not if you don't go there first and get your fast pass before anything else, you're not going on it.
Pretty much. You would think it'd be able to go through people pretty dang quick.
I think what it is people want to get in that air because it's inside of another building, which is air conditioned. Yeah. That whole huge complex is air conditioned. So the restaurant there's a couple of restaurants, the quick service, and then the upstairs the land one that turns. And
there's the one big attraction
one
there.
Really cool. So of course everybody is attracted to that and just sort of stays in that line forever.
Yeah.
It is really awesome ride though. It's like a flying ride, but even if you're scared of heights, you don't have to because you just have to remind yourself we're really only about 6 feet off the ground.
It's
maybe
more than 6 feet.
12 feet, something like that. It's not very high. And you're just sitting in your little chair and you're just flying on your little hang glider. And it really kind of gives you the sensation of flying. So I think that's really cool. It's more of a sensation of flying than you get from like a roller coaster or something. You know.
Yeah. It is.
Comes pretty close to the actual hang gliding experience without it being terrifyingly.
What you see in the
impossibly
previews
dawn.
is what you feel.
That's cool.
They have the scent, which is really cool, where you're flying over the orange groves and you smell the orange.
I always think it's funny though when people think they smell things in there that aren't part of the show. And you're like, no, you didn't. But it fools you so much. You get so much into the interactive nature of it that.
And there is sense for some of it, so that when you.
So yeah, so it becomes part of the whole sensory experience, and your brain just tells you, oh yeah, at this point you're smelling this, and you're like, no, they don't put that scent in there. But okay, you know, sure, you might have smelled that.
Could have smelled that.
I've been having a small brain aneurysm at that moment. I don't hope not, but
Yeah.
okay. So what's the next on the list? Are we done 10 yet? Can't be.
No, nowhere near 10 yet. We missed one over in Animal Kingdom. We missed Dinosaur.
Yeah, the ultimate thrill ride in Animal Kingdom, and Dinosaur was there before Everest.
Well before Everest, because it had originally been
It's
Countdown to Extinction, and then when Dinosaur came out, they rethemed it to match the movie and added an Alidor, which is kind of neat.
And Dinosaur doesn't have as long a line as I would expect for the ride that it is. I don't think it gets the attention it deserves, honestly.
No, it doesn't.
It
It is kind of back in a
advertise
corner.
it much. You don't hear that. I mean, when it first came out, I think you heard a lot about it because
Yeah.
of its ride design, which was kind of
Which they also use in
Revolutionary
Indiana
at the
Jones
time,
back in
right.
Disneyland. Same ride system. Both of our boats.
it's just kind of an underappreciated ride. It's an awesome thrill ride, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the dinosaurs are rather realistic, and of course it helps that it's in the dark, so you don't get the full. You know, you can't look at it completely and go, oh, that's a plastic dinosaur. You know, you're seeing it in the dark with flashing lights and so forth. But the dinosaurs are very realistic.
The only complaint I've ever had about that attraction is that it's too loud.
It is really loud, but it's supposed to. They're giant dinosaurs 2 inches from your face. Do you expect them to be quiet? Plus, it has to be loud to be louder than the equipment. that
True.
they use, 'cause
I
those
understand it,
vehicles are
but
quite
it's
loud.
still, it seems like every time I go, it's a little bit louder.
Yeah.
It's like they slowly turn it up
It's like,
each time I
why
go.
does it need to be this low? I used to like when McDonald's was the sponsor of it, where they made so many jokes about
Yes.
McDonald's, where every 2 inches there was another sign going, "Brought to you by McDonald's." It was like parodying itself or something.
Yeah,
it was funny.
it was-
I don't think everybody got
Animal
that.
Kingdom did that more than anywhere else, and I love it, especially Dino Land. They had the most fun with it.
And especially, yeah, it was supposed to be this, kind of smarmy museum curator who's saying, "Oh, welcome to our thing," brought to you by McDonald's,
But they took all that out because McDonald's stopped being a sponsor.
Yeah, but it's still a great little.
Oh,
pretty
everything,
show.
it doesn't really
I
take
love the
anything
museum
away. It's
quality at the beginning, where they really make it look like you're going into a museum.
cool. And they had the Bill Nye the Science Guy doing the little voiceover at the
Yes.
beginning in the museum, which is also really cool.
And it's true fact. I mean, they're not just throwing out some bogus science from 1946 that has long been disproved. That's, at least at the time it was built, that was the most up to date scientific knowledge about fossils and things like that. So that was really. It is kind of like a learning experience.
It's very much a little learning experience. When it is a real museum, basically, when you go into it.
I
It's a
love the
real
fossils,
show.
and I love that have the ones set up where you can look through the magnifying glass and it tells you what they are and all
Yeah,
that. That's really
That's
cool.
really, really cool. And they have, some other neat little things, and then you go through and there's the little show.
But the dinosaur ride is quite thrilling. It's also very scary.
It is a
A
one
lot
of
of
the
people think,
scariest.
"Oh, it's a cool dinosaur ride. Let's take the kids on it."
It's not a cool
not
one.
a
It's a
kid's
scary
ride at all. If you have a kid who's not easily scared, fine. But it's not geared for children. There's not cute little dinosaurs in this ride at all. Till the very end, in a small little video thing, you see Allosaur in the back of your car. That's it. You don't ever meet lovely, cutesy Allosaur. You meet vicious dinosaurs that are trying to eat you. It's terrifying. You come face to face with them. You feel them breathing on you. This is not a ride for little children.
Yeah, not to mention being attacked by asteroids.
It also is kind of jerky. So if you
Yes.
have a sore neck, like me,
Or any other sore parts that could
I
be
mean,
jagged.
I can get through it once without too much pain or anything like that. But I don't think I would want to ride it more than once
Without
per
neck
day
brace.
because it would make your neck very sore. And here's a trivia question answer. It's asked often. The one dinosaur that is not in there, T-Rex.
Oh yeah, because they
Why?
have the other one.
Why? Because Universal Studios had the T-Rex for their ride,
Yeah.
and they didn't want that association.
So they
wanted
had the
something
bigger
completely.
one.
Yes.
So they just took the bigger dinosaur.
And they have a big, mean, scary, ugly dinosaur.
Yeah, really big, mean, scary, ugly dinosaur.
Yeah.
Can't remember its name, whatever it is. Big, red, ugly thing.
Yeah. The lumpy bumpies all over it. Yeah.
Like a double dinosaur almost.
And in front of that building is a really cute fountain with Allosaur.
Yeah,
So
Allosaur
that's,
on it. Yeah,
that's
that's really
what the kids will
confusing.
like. Yeah, take them and let them look at Allador. What's next? Thrill rides.
Let's see. We've already got Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, Dinosaur, Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Everest, Splash Mountain, Cali River Rapids, Test Track, and Soarin'. Only thing left is what's coming soon. I mean, they're going to be
yes.
building Avatar, within the next few years. They're going to get started on that. The closest to coming up next will be the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train
And
Coaster.
that one will kick off someone else, because I'm sure that's going to be more thrilling than one of the other rides.
And that just about does it for all our thrill ride selection there.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, that's way more than I think most people realize is at Disney. Most people think of Disney as being sort of tame and kiddie-ish, and it's not.
They're changing their ways even more as we speak, as they go on. At first, yeah, they didn't have too many.
Well, there was a
couple.
time when Splash Mountain was about as scary as it got, and look how where we've gone since then.
There was a time before Splash Mountain existed.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So that's pretty crazy. That's also why it's one of the few rides that comes with motion sickness bags.
And one of the things that we have both said is when you have to push your little button or whatever to do your roll, it doesn't actually do anything. And I think it should it should have an effect where if you fail, it should tell you, oh, you crashed in the end. It should give you a screen that says, you're dead, you crashed because Navigator didn't do his job. It should have
the only thing
some
it does is it
little
blinks
effect
and
to
makes a little noise a little bit quicker than it would have if you didn't push it at all. Because I've run it where it was basically just me in the entire castle by myself, and I'm like, now what?
You can do all of them,
And you can't reach but maybe one of the other buttons, and that's it. And otherwise, you're just sitting there, and it doesn't really do
I
any
mean, why
difference.
not? They've got Space Ranger spin and stuff like that where it actually does stuff. So why not give it some little effect that it makes it
A little more
make you
interactivity.
feel like you're actually doing something? You're
They give
obviously
you-
not driving the shaft, but make it
You're
do
giving
something
you
where it
fake
vibrates you or
interactivity.
something. You vibrate your seat or something, make you think, oh shoot, we're crashing because I didn't push the button fast enough. Something, just to have a little fun with
They
it.
give those little sticks they're supposed
Plus,
to do
it's getting
stuff.
old and it's stupid at this point. I've gone on it, I think, 3 times. I don't think I'm going to go on it again because
Yeah,
not
the
really that
coolest part is the
interesting.
liftoff. That's it.
you take off, you feel the vibration and the
Centrifugal
gravitational
force.
pull, the centrifugal force, and then you're supposed to be in space and then you land. That's it. There's not that much to it.